we would be commencing the evening's program the traditional way with the invoking of light and blessings to this ceremony and this conference by the lighting of the oil lamp. And to light the oil lamp, we'd like to invite the following dignitaries.
His Excellency, the President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Honorable Maithripala Sirisena. The Honorable Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. His Lordship, the Chief Justice of Sri Lanka, Honorable K. Sripavan, PC. Honorable Minister of Justice, Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, PC. The Honorable Attorney General, Mr. Jayanta Jayasuriya, President's Counsel. His Lordship, the President of the Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Vijit Malalgoda. President, Law Asia, Advocate Prashant Kumar. The President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Mr. Jeffrey Alagaratna, President's Counsel.
The Honorable Solicitor General, Suhail Gamlat, PC. Chairman of the Conference Organizing Committee and Vice President of Lawasia, Mr. Upul Jayasuriya, PC. General Secretary Lawasia, Ms. Janet Neville. The Secretary of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Mr. Amal Ramdenia. The Deputy President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Mr. Salia Pires. The Treasurer of the Bar Association, Mr. Dinu Dharmaratna. The Chairman of the Conference Inauguration Committee, Mr. Manilal Fernando. Convener of the Organizing Committee, Mr. Rajiv Amarasuriya. The President-elect Law Asia, Mr. Chris Leong, and the Assistant Secretary of the BASL, Rajita Hatharusinghe.
We'd like to thank Ms. Mandara Pereira for handling this part of the event. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, in 1966, Law Asia began and now evolved 50 years on as a confluence of lawyers, legal organizations, and countries representing dynamism and cooperation in the field of law. Today, we have the culmination of 50 years of great work at the 29th conference and its golden Jubilee year, this Law Asia Conference 2016.
This year's conference, hosted for the third time in Law Asia's history in Sri Lanka, having first been hosted in 1979, thereafter in 1993, sees the participation of 37 countries with almost 300 delegates from abroad, including 14 Chief Justices and senior judges representing Chief Justices from countries in the region, an equal number of participants from Sri Lanka as well, and so it promises to be a wonderful forum for interaction and discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, as stated previously, the translation of any speeches will be available to you on Channel 1. Meanwhile, may I request you to draw your attention to the screens as we share with you a prelude to the theme of this year's conference, the triumph of the rule of law.
Respect the rule of law.
ඇය තමයි මේ වන්දිතේ අපි සමරන්නේ. සුවරි කෝට් එක අයිති මාෂල්ට.
Ladies and gentlemen, to welcome you to this conference, please put your hands together as we invite the Chairman of the Conference Organizing Committee and Vice President Lawasia, Mr. Upul Jayasuriya.
Your Excellency, the President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Honorable the Prime Minister, Your Lordship, the Honorable the Chief Justice of Sri Lanka, President of Lawasia, Your Lordship, the Chief Justices of Pakistan, Thailand, Bangladesh, Papua New Guinea, Maldives, and Guam, and Your Lordships, the senior judges who are representing Chief Justices of China, India, Japan, Australia, Nepal, Myanmar, Malaysia, and Timor-Leste, all the members of the judiciary of the superior courts and other judges of Sri Lanka, Honorable the Attorney General, Honorable Ministers, Solicitor General, past Presidents of Lawasia, Your Excellency, Ambassadors, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great privilege to welcome you all on this historic day when we celebrate 50 years of Lawasia Conference, which started in Canberra in 1966. It is indeed serendipitous that the Golden Jubilee Conference is taking place in our blessed land, the Pearl of the Indian Ocean. Lawasia, your strong support for the rule of law during this half-century has been significant and most relevant globally and locally, particularly in relevance to the recent past. When the idea of holding a similar conference in Sri Lanka was mooted by me in 2013, the Executive Committee of Lawasia rightly declined the offer considering the situation as it existed then. The subsequent decision by Lawasia to hold the Golden Jubilee in Sri Lanka in 2016 is an apt honor and a telling recognition of the judiciary Sri Lanka has chosen to embark upon and move forward with the dawn of the 8th of January 2015 and the ascendancy to office by both Your Excellency the President and the Honorable the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. The legal fraternity in Sri Lanka of all the professions in our land led the change to establish the rule of law, independence of judiciary, and the true democracy. The legal fraternity of Sri Lanka was a critical and perhaps impelling factor in the change. We never rested until sanity was restored. Today, we look back with pride at our role in the restoration of the values I mentioned. Permit me to pay this glowing tribute not only to the legal fraternity in Sri Lanka, but the entire legal community of Lawasia, its President, Mr. Prashant Kumar, the former President, Mr. Izumi Suzuki, the President-elect, Mr. Chris Leon, who were at the forefront in many struggles of ours during the most turbulent period in Sri Lanka. It is a triumph for the values that we stood for as we believed, Edmund Burke, quote, the necessity for the triumph of the evil is for good men to do nothing, close quote. Because we did not do nothing. We did everything. Your Excellency the President, since assuming office, you have been the crusader in a battle to relinquish the powers that you are vested with. You abdicated the presidential immunity. You restricted the number of times you could contest by an amendment to the Constitution that you moved. Your right to make appointments of judges of the Superior Court is restricted constitutionally with a new constitutional amendment that you brought in within the 100 days of your election. These were some of the dreams that the legal profession advocated fearlessly. You have entered the journey to good governance You have recognized the need for true reconciliation in our previously fractured motherland, and you are indomitably addressing the measures which are needed to bring about true reconciliation and amity in a united Sri Lanka. Your Excellency, it is my belief that history will judge you to be the Nelson Mandela of modern Sri Lanka, the citizen who united our country and its people and created one nation and one people. Honorable the Prime Minister, you have been the tower of strength in these endeavors and a true democrat. Independence of the judiciary, transparency, media freedom, right to information, and the principles of rule of law have been re-established with the dawn of the new era in Sri Lanka. Our relationships with all the countries near and far have been restored and strengthened with much hope for the present and future. Many of these goals have been achieved during this short period of time. Honorable the Prime Minister, we are proud that you too are a member of our profession. I remember that you attended the inauguration of Lawasia conference in 1993 in Colombo, Sri Lanka, as the then Prime Minister, in this very hall, and has always been a source of much strength to the legal profession. You are truly the champion of modern Sri Lanka and future Sri Lanka. Every time you are pushed to the rope, you bounce back with more vigor. Your wisdom, insight, and determination prevailed and brought victory finally. Abundant investment opportunities, protection for investments, and ease of investments are now a reality in Sri Lanka. Dear delegates, you will have the opportunities of making best use of the fruitful discussions and networking that will take place during the evening functions and enjoying the traditional Sri Lankan hospitality. I take this opportunity to remember another stalwart, Mr. Ajanta Kure, the chairman of the organizing committee of Lawasia Conference in 1993. He departed from our midst in 2003 during the prime of his life. We are fortunate to have the president of Lawasia of 1993, Mr. Anil Diwan, with 9 other presidents with us at this conference. I also wish to make this opportunity to place on record our appreciation to a few great people from Lawasia who stood by us in making this conference a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a rousing welcome by a round of applause to Mr. Prashant Kumar, the President of Lawasia from India, Mr. Chris Leon of Malaysia, the President-elect of Lawasia, Mr. Isumi Suzuki of Japan, former President of Lawasia, and my brother, Vice President of Lawasia, Justin Dow of Australia, and Chung Wan Choi of Korea. Last but not the least, the outgoing Secretary General of Lawasia, Ms. Janet Neville, and her team. I have long had a dream for the members of our noble profession in Sri Lanka. During the 43 years of history of Bar Association of Sri Lanka, we have not been able to realize this dream. The dream is to set up a benevolent trust fund to assist less privileged members of our fraternity who encounter unexpected difficulties and are in need of urgent assistance. I'm happy to declare that we will realize that dream at the end of this conference, Golden Jubilee Lawasia Conference in Sri Lanka. Finally, permit me to thank all sponsors and our organizing committee and the subcommittees numbering over 150 for a job well done with precision and attention to detail. Please bear with me as I do not have the time to name them all. The legal profession has been the strength of many a society and country, and the legal profession has fought many a battles and a war to protect the cherished values and standards of the rule of law and democracy. The legal profession has faced many threats and sometimes violence in its commitment to these causes. I take this opportunity to remember with shock and sorrow the tragic events in Kota earlier this week with the assassination of the president of the Kota Bar Association, followed by the terror attack which killed and maimed over 70 people, including many of our colleagues. This horrific incident brings this truth home to us in a chilling and a brutal manner. We can resist and triumph over these threats only if the legal profession in each country and through our region and internationally stands united and strong and gives our unstinted support to our brothers and sisters in the profession. Lawasia has always led this effort, and I know it will continue to do so. I'm confident that this Golden Jubilee Lawasia Conference, which has over 550 delegates across the globe participating, will strengthen our unity and resolve. I wish you all an excellent conference and most enjoyable and memorable stay in my beloved mother, Sri Lanka. Thank you very much.